Recently, a Nintendo Switch patent emerged to describe a possible dual-screen implementation on the first Nintendo Switch. The first patent shows two images to be fit in one screen, dubbed the single-screen mode. The first image is the main gameplay, whereas the second image shows the auxiliary info such as maps, menus, or items. This mode is basically a picture-in-picture mode, as in the modern gadget. Not sure whether the second screen can be positioned according to our like and whether it is visible in handheld mode. And it might not be suitable for games which use the touch screen on the second screen. The second pattern shows the two images swap between each other. I believe it's something like we see in the recent Mega Man Star Force Legacy Collection. In this mode, it rotates between the main screen and the auxiliary screen at the press of a button. The third pattern is the most interesting to me, where it shows the Nintendo Switch is docked and labeled as parent apparatus, and the several Nintendo Switch is labeled as child apparatus. It somehow reminds me of the Nintendo GameCube connectivity with the Nintendo Game Boy Advance with link cable or the Wii U gamepad controller. For those who still rocking on the Nintendo Switch 1 like me and still hesitant to replace the Switch 1 with Switch 2, this is a great news as the old Switch 1 doesn't become an e-waste. Instead, it becomes an interactive touch panel secondary screen. Dock Switch 2 handles all the heavy processing and outputs the main 3D view to the big screen. The Switch 1 is simply receiving a low latency video feed of the second touch-enabled screen. It's a perfect, cost-effective way to get the true dual screen experience without buying a whole new dual screen handheld. Why would Nintendo go to all this trouble? Because time has been running up. They need to open up the Nintendo Switch Online vault to the next major system, the Nintendo DS and possibly even the 3DS. The DS library is a goldmine. Some of the Nintendo's best-selling games are locked away on the hardware. Games like The Legend of Zelda Phantom Hourglass, Professor Layton, Shin Megami Tensei, Final Fantasy and many more titles require second screen and touch input to be played authentically. Although some of the games had been remastered or remade to suit single-screen gameplay, like the recent Dragon Quest VII. For me, this dual-screen solution is a smart move for two reasons. First, scalability. If you're on the go with just your Switch 2, DS games can use a simplified picture-in-picture mode or a quick swap screen toggle, just like some emulator ideas we have seen. It works, but it's not ideal. Second, the full experience. At home, for the definitive nostalgic experience, you can pull out your old Switch, fire up the Nintendo Switch Online app, and suddenly you have a massive dual screen setup on your TV and coffee table. It's the Wii U gamepad concept, but with two consoles and a massive install base. You're not just playing a game, you are reliving the original design philosophy with better tech. Or maybe Nintendo can sell separate second screen like this concept video? Although the top Type-C port does not enable video, maybe Nintendo will release a new Nintendo Switch 2 Pro in the future. Nintendo is all about innovation and reusing old hardware in new ways. This theory that the Switch 2's dock and DS Online games are the perfect storm to turn your old Switch 1 into a dedicated second screen is a brilliant way to respect their history, solve a massive technical hurdles, and give existing fans a reason to keep their old consoles. What do you think? Is this the dual screen future for the Switch 2, or is it just a beautiful pipe dream? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for spending your time for this video. I really appreciate it. Hope to see you again in the next video. Bye bye.